Okay. Casey Richmond, how are
Yep.
you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
It's day 4 of the show.
Yeah.
How's your show been going?
It's been good. It's been super busy, so
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited for it to be done, but I feel like it's gone by really fast.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love this show though. It's probably my favorite show we do all year.
Why is that?
I feel like I see a lot of people I know at this show, and I love hunting, so all the new products and stuff that come out, I'm kind of like nerding out on them the whole week, and I get to go check them out. I buy a lot of stuff here, it seems like, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Just get stocked up before the
yeah,
season.
Yeah, honestly,
Okay.
I'm gonna definitely go do that today. I haven't really gotten out of the booth a lot. So.
Okay, I was going to say, because every time I've walked by the booth, you guys have been slammed.
Yeah, it's been busy. We have 8 of us, but I think next year we're definitely gonna bring a lot more.
Yeah.
Just because it's a lot, and it's a 9-hour day when you're working the booth. So
9-hour days, 4 days in a row.
Yep.
It's a lot when it's a 4-day show. Because by
Yeah.
the last day, you're like,
Yeah, and this show ends at 7. That's like the craziest part about this show is most shows end at like 4:35. This one goes till 7, so I feel like the last 2 hours really drag.
yeah.
But it's been good. I mean, overall, like, been selling a lot of stuff, which is part of the goal, and then talking to a lot of customers, educating people on our product. So yeah, overall, great show for Eberlestock, and I've had a lot of fun. But yeah, definitely pretty busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's give the followers who wouldn't know who you are a little insight, where you're from, where you're at, and then how you kind of got to Eberlestock.
Okay. Yeah, so I am from San Diego originally.
Okay.
I grew up there. My whole family pretty much lives there or close to San Diego. I am the oldest of 5 kids, and like all 4 of my siblings live down in Southern California. I went to BYU here in Utah for school, and that's where I met my wife. My wife is from Boise, but after school, we moved back to San Diego for almost 4 years, and then I heard about Eberlestock needing to hire someone that could do marketing and content, stuff like that, and so we made the move up to Boise, and that was almost 7 years ago.
7 years ago?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, but we like it a lot. I mean, my wife's from there, so
So she has
knew
family.
she would like it. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
her whole family's there, so
Oh,
the
that's good.
support, from her family is huge.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like it a lot. Definitely grew up surfing every day and playing team sports, stuff like that, and then now I just kind of do outdoor stuff.
Yeah. So when did you get into hunting? Were you raised in it, or
No.
did you get into it on your
No,
own?
I'm like the only one in my family that hunts.
Okay.
I kind of like my father-in-law, so my wife's dad, grew up hunting. He's from Idaho, and while I was dating and I think right after we got married, he really helped me get into hunting. Like, kind of gave me some of his gear and gave me recommendations on, what type of hunt to look for a first hunt. And then I kind of rolled with that. And then, I don't know, some of my friends in school also hunted, so we'd go mess around here in Utah. And then once I moved to Idaho, that's when I really started hunting a lot. So yeah, and that was almost 7 years ago. I feel like I hunt. I mean, I've been trying to make up for lost time, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
So.
you're going all over, and then I was talking to you earlier, and your year is really booked.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy how fast, time has been flying, but I already know of a lot of trips, I guess. Like, I'm going to Alaska for sure 2 times this year.
Oh my gosh.
And then, yeah, with what I do for work, like doing a lot of the content for Eberlestock, I will be, filming and now helping on other hunts in Idaho as well. And then, but yeah, it becomes a pretty full year because hunting, spring hunting season starts right here in mid-April, goes through end of June, and then we start right back up in August. So you have a little bit of time in the beginning of the year off. Kind of. I mean, there's always when I get back, I'm going to start trapping and predator hunting and stuff. So there's a lot of, you can hunt year round, especially in Idaho. So it never really stops. But the busiest times are spring and then fall, which is August through November. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot. I feel like sometimes it gets overwhelming because you want to do all of it, and then you're like, there's just not enough time in the day.
Yeah.
Especially if you're working for a company that does events and you're traveling and talking to people and everything. So
Totally. Yeah. I mean, luckily the events are kind of like a, kind of more dead time of the year for hunting. Waterfowl just, ends in, end of January, which I do a lot of that too. And then, this is my last show pretty much. So mid-February, the shows are kind of over and I can start, doing other fun spring stuff like shed hunting even and stuff like that, which I'm excited to get outside a little more. I've been like stuck
get out of the convention center in the cities.
Yeah, it's been a lot of that, a lot of these, fluorescent lights and stuff and standing and not walking.
Yeah.
I feel like I can hike all day, but if I'm just standing in a like single spot all day, I get like way more tired.
On concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through your career progression a little bit to
Yeah.
understand like how you even land a job in the hunting industry.
Okay.
So you went to BYU.
Yep.
What did you graduate in?
It's kind of weird. I mean, I did a business management minor, but my major was actually sociology with like the marketing emphasis.
Okay.
So it's like, the study of groups of people. It's kind of like psychology for groups of people. So, transparently, I didn't get in when I first applied to major in business management. So like, oh no, I don't want to like keep like wasting time trying to apply because it's a really competitive school. You pretty much have to get straight A's to get in to the business school. So I was like, what's another good like major I can do for sales? Because I was like, I'm born to be a salesman. I don't know. I just like thought that's what I was going to do my whole life. And so I was talking to some counselors. They recommended sociology, and I'm actually really happy I did it. Like there were some classes I took in that major that were super helpful for my career development, I guess. And then the management minor, I got all the important like econ and accounting classes. I think the best class I ever took ever. I mean, but at BYU was business writing. So I actually do like a lot of the proofing for any like written words or, and I don't speak with good grammar, but I like kind of proof anything that's written for Eberlestock. And that I learned a lot, I guess, like how to write, emails correctly, how to make a resume, stuff like that. Like really like practical skills that you want to know when you graduate college. I learned it in that class. And then I got a sales job. Actually, one of the summers while I was going to school, I interned for a company down in San Diego. It was a packaging company. So just cardboard boxes, but like custom cardboard boxes for big companies.
Yeah.
And then when I graduated, they hired me. So that's when my wife and I moved down to San Diego. And I liked the job. I was I was on the road a lot, like locally. The nice part is like cardboard sales are pretty regional. So I was pretty much from LA down to Ensenada, Mexico. So I worked in Mexico a couple days a week and then San Diego and LA.
Okay.
And it was good. Every day was different, which was fun. I definitely have like some sort of ADD or ADHD. So for me, like having days that aren't just the same every time are important. But at the same time in college, me and two friends started a clothing company.
Okay.
Like surf apparel, board shorts, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts. I mean, pretty basic stuff, but.
So that's when you became like a little entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What made you go for it?
I don't know. All of us, like all three, like me and my two friends that started it, are all from Southern California. One's from Laguna Beach, one's from Huntington, and I'm from La Jolla. So we all grew up surfing, and I grew up working at a surf shop. The other two had jobs in the surf industry as well. And we all wanted, I don't know, somehow it came out like all of us had wanted to own something in the surf industry at some point. We're like, that'd be so fun to have a company and get to really be involved in the industry, like from that perspective. And so while we were going to school, we were like, let's just start it. We were all roommates and we're like, let's start this company. And so it was called Mako, M-A-K-O, like the Mako shark.
Okay.
We started off pretty small. I mean, like really small. We just each put in a couple $1,000 and got basically, we're like, let's try and get like our first run of t-shirts and sweatshirts and hats out before basically Black Friday. I think it was like in October we started working on it. And we got some clothing out. We sold out of it really quick and we're like, sweet, we got more money now to order more. And so we just kind of like grew the business like that, like really organically.
So did you do it like online sales or did you do like an event?
Both. Well, we had dealers and online. We also did like pop-up events and stuff like that too.
Okay.
So But yeah, it was fun. I learned a lot about running a small business and growing that. I ran the social media and did all the content for that. And then when I was in San Diego, so like fast forward a few years, we all had graduated from BYU, kind of moved back to our hometowns, working our like day jobs, I guess, and doing Mako at nights and on weekends. And then we all were kind of getting busy with our day jobs, and I was also getting ready to take this job at Eberlestock in Idaho. So we decided to sell it and sold it to a guy who lives in Santa Barbara.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was a fun experience. I mean, I kind of miss part of that. I mean, but it would have been pretty impossible for us to run once I moved to Idaho.
Yeah. So give us a little background before we jump into like your journey into Eberlestock. What Eberlestock is, because some people might not know what it is unless you're in the industry.
Yeah. If you haven't heard of it, it's probably, it's the name. So Eberlestock, the owner and founder's last name is Eberle. It's Glenn Eberle. And it started out as the Eberlestock Company because he started off by making rifle stocks. So he was an Olympic biathlete, really interesting guy. I mean, he's had like 5 different lives. He was a fighter pilot for the Air Force. He was a commercial pilot for, a big airline, and then started Eberlestock, or the Eberlestock Company, making rifle stocks, and then eventually saw the need for hunting specific backpacks, especially ones that could carry a rifle. So he has a patent on the back scabbard, which is basically a rifle scabbard that's on the backpack. And then that was in the early 2000s, started making gear and changed the name to Eberlestock. And we, now there's a couple different 100 backpacks styles that we make. And we've gotten into the technical apparel, side of the business as well. So we do a lot. We're in like hunting, military, and tactical backpacks, and then also everyday carry.
Yeah.
So, and that's actually our biggest side of the business now, is the everyday carry side. So.
Yeah. So what drew you to Eberlestock?
Well, it was just when I was getting into hunting. I didn't really know too much about their military and tactical stuff, and then I didn't know that they made everyday carry bags at all. I knew about their hunting bags and had used one on a couple different hunts. And then just really, I don't know, like honestly, a lot of it was the move to Idaho was a big part of it too. I wanted something to kind of get me somewhere where I wanted to raise a family, because my wife and I had just had our first son just less than a year before we moved to Idaho. So I was like, I don't really want to raise my kids here in San Diego, even though I was raised there. It just had changed a lot. And so
I think it was way different than when you were growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my dad's from California. He's from, Diamond Bar. You know where that is?
Oh, I just met someone from there yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
I know where it is now. Yeah.
Yeah. Completely different than when he was little. So
I'm sure.
California changes a ton.
Yep. And I still like visiting there. I still love surfing. It's still like one of the, if not my favorite thing to do. But for me, it was like, well, I feel selfish if like I'm going to keep my family in San Diego and like either rent forever or buy a house in a place like a neighborhood I don't want to, because everything's really expensive there too. And
Yeah.
I don't know, we were like wanting to buy a house, right? We had a small family. And so I was like, why don't we look at other options? And it just made sense to kind of start looking where my wife's from for a lot of reasons. And then that opportunity kind of presented itself. So I came up to Idaho for an interview, really liked Glenn, sat down with him for a couple hours and was like, man, I'd love to work for this guy. So it was really casual. It was like, have you met Glenn before?
I haven't, no.
You haven't?
Well,
Yeah.
if I do, I don't remember.
Yeah. He's just like, I don't know. I was like, man, I could really picture like enjoying working for this guy. He's just an awesome guy. He's got a great story.
Yeah.
And the company was doing great things, and so I was kind of the first out of state hire for Eberlestock. Everyone else that had worked there was, like born and raised in Boise and stuff. So it was kind of a big deal, I guess. And since then we've hired a lot of people from all over. a lot of people that maybe originally like kind of like me, but like had lived in Idaho then for a few years and then wanted to work for Eberlestock. So, but yeah, I was like the fifth. I think there were only 5 employees when I started, and now there's 40 something. So it's grown a lot in the last 6 or 7 years.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
So, what does your career journey look like over the years? I'm sure you wore, going from 5 to 40, you wore a ton of hats throughout that. So, did you start in marketing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of started out in everything. Like when I first started, we all answered customer service calls. We all answered emails. Like we all did customer service. And then, I would also like film the videos, take the photos, like when we could. It was like definitely like not a priority. And then about a year, maybe a year and a half into working there, Greg Williams, who's now our CEO, was made the director of marketing.
Okay.
And so he and I were kind of just the marketing team, and we really saw like the need for updating all this content that was really old. Our website was outdated, and like the content itself was just, needed to be shot.
Yeah, little refresh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is like when I started, Glenn was pretty much doing everything. I mean, he was shooting the content, he was ordering the product. I mean, he was doing everything. So most of the content that we were reshooting was stuff that Glenn had originally shot, like when a product had launched. So there was a huge need for that. We pretty much reshot every video and photo that we sold, or for any product that we sold. And then I don't know, we started to see obviously a huge positive response from customers from doing that in terms of like growth. I mean, we started like really selling a lot more pretty quickly. And we run, ads. This is like just starting or getting into it, I guess, but like our ads on Google and Meta and everything started to really perform better just with new content. So I'm trying to think what else. I also like made the print ads for magazines. I even like created, I mean, I was doing a lot of stuff like a creative director would do, and I did all of the video, photo, all of the trying to think what else. There's like a lot of random stuff I also do too, and I still do some random stuff, but I was able to give away a lot of the random responsibilities, I guess, once we've hired more people. So we just started hiring. I'm trying to think like what other positions we kind of started hiring in, but we really in the last 2 years have grown staff wise a lot, which is, we have a creative director. We actually have a marketing director who oversees like the whole department and handles like the marketing budget. We have a marketing manager who kind of runs everything e-commerce. We have now 3 like other creatives, so like a couple other photographers and videographers. Another guy that just does like studio photography for the website. And then we also try to really integrate in like the relationship between our website and our dealers, because our dealers, we have a few hundred dealers as well. So trying to make sure that like when we're about to launch a product, that all the dealers know about it and they have the opportunity to get it in their stores and stuff like that. So I think our marketing team, we have about let's see, I should know this, but I think there's 9 of us.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it's a huge difference. Greg, who was the director of marketing, like I said, is the CEO, but he is, has a huge interest in marketing. So he's always checking up on us and giving us ideas and stuff like that. So it's a funny position to be in, because I've been there now the second longest in the company. So I've seen so much change and stuff, but I'm kind of the one, I guess, that you'd say like they rely on to keep the brand grounded in kind of like how we started and stuff like that. So I do a lot of the branding type stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's you just kind of fell into it, or is that where like you wanted to go?
No, I don't know. My position's kind of weird, and we actually have some meetings next week even to go over kind of specific, we're shifting some stuff around. So specific job responsibilities and stuff like that. But my official position right now is director of photography, but that was like 4 years ago that was made.
Yeah.
And so it probably would make sense to have it be something else, because I also help a lot on the product development side. So with our design department, with new products that are coming out and like testing those, giving feedback for those new products. And then I also help even with our sales department for dealer trainings and some like sales calls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of random stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from what I've gathered is you love just like the overall like business experience of like building and creating and growing. It doesn't matter what job you're doing. You're just kind of ready to like take it to the next level or see how you can sell a product or get it in consumers' hands. What would you say is your favorite part of a business?
Probably the, gosh, I don't know. I like the customer experience a lot. Like what, you know, the first impression would be of a company for a potential customer and like kind of that funnel all the way into being a customer. And then also like on the back end of that, like how the customer is treated after they buy. I really am like interested in that whole thing, like where a company can gain like a loyal customer for life, right? Or gain like someone that's going to be really happy with their purchase. But then recently we've grown our product development team so much. I really also like the process of like developing new products, seeing like what customers are wanting from us and then trying to create the best version of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, a mix of both of those, I guess.
Mix of both?
I mean, they're kind of related, but yeah, it's really exciting too to have worked on a product that's new and then see it come to market and then be on the marketing side where trying to capture the best content we can to show off or, you know, to show that product and then see people buy it, I guess, and be happy with the product.
Yeah.
So kind of that whole process of designing all the way to customers seeing them get out and enjoy the product that we designed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've gotten to do like a lot of events and a lot of hunts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's helped a little bit more, like working in the hunt industry to get you out. I mean, sometimes it's weird because some people are like, oh, you work at a gun range, you must get to shoot all the time. Or sometimes it's harder. It's like, oh, you work in hunting, you must get to hunt all the time. And you're like, actually, no, like not as much as you would think. So is it, you get to go more? Or?
I get to go way more than like you would think. But it's kind of unique, just being the one that probably captures a lot of that like field content. It makes sense for me to go. I feel somewhat capable in the mountains now, you know, with how much I've been out on like real hunts over the past 7 years. So yeah, I get to go a lot. We try to film like as much of like, and I try and hunt personally. Like sometimes I feel almost selfish because I'm like, I'll be out doing a lot of, you know, content or I'll be out filming or helping with different hunts throughout the season. But then in Idaho, it's a big like opportunity hunting state. So like I can definitely have at least one elk, one deer, one bear tag a year, one antelope tag a year. So I personally am always like, well, I got to set some time aside for my personal hunts. And sometimes it works out where we get to do work type stuff, you know, capture content on my own hunts. But a lot of times I'm out with other people on their hunts. So between my hunts and other people's hunts, I'm out, you know, especially like when September starts, I'm out a lot of at least half of the time from September, October, and probably first half of November.
Yeah.
I'm out of the office on actual hunts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get out a lot. And I know, especially when we were smaller, it was really tricky during hunting season. Like, okay, well, not everyone can go out and hunt the same week. You know, we need people out
responding to calls or packing
exactly.
and
So that's changed a lot with more people. We're able to afford having more guys out. But yeah, most of the office, like of the 40 of us, I bet probably 30 of the guys hunt. So it does get pretty crazy during hunting season.
Yeah. So do you have like a group of buddies or does your family go with you?
No, like, I mean, I like on my wife's side of the family, there's, you know, like her father-in-law and brothers-in-law and stuff that hunt, but like mostly guys I hunt with, I work with. So Hunter, ironically, his name's Hunter. He works at Eberlestock in sales. He's probably the one I hunt with the most, but I also hunt with Jackson, who's here at the show, Chase, even Tanner and Greg, who's the, you know, CEO, COO. We hunt a lot with them. It's a really like unique work environment because all of us, I feel like, are really good friends.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that have worked together for a while. And then like we do stuff on the weekends, we go hunting, stuff like that. And then I feel like it just helps in the workplace too.
Yeah.
When you hunt with your coworkers. So because you get to know them really well. And
yeah, I was going to say sometimes, because I asked Jess Smith and I was like, how is it working with your boss and your husband? Like, how is that dynamic? And I mean, I kind of saw it growing up too, because my family was like a family business. And so we just grew up working with each other. But how is it like working with them and doing your hobbies with them?
I don't know. Sometimes it's funny. Like, well, like I'm usually pretty chill. I think like I'm like most of the time pretty happy and like I don't know, they call me like a golden retriever at the office. I'm just like excited for everything and kind of happy to do whatever. So
that's a perfect description.
Yeah. But every once in a while, like something will happen like on a hunt, the night before or something. Because a lot of times during bear season too, we'll just go hunt after work and we'll get home at 1 a.m. and then just go to work the next day. And I don't know if it's kind of funny because like you're like I just saw you like 5 hours ago. Now I see now you're with that same person at work. But I think it really does like strengthen the relationship between coworkers if they can do something like, because when you're hunting with someone, especially if it's like a backcountry overnight, like backpacking hunt, I mean you'll get to know that person really well, and you'll have experiences out there that will usually strengthen your relationship. So I don't know. I feel like it's really created some tight relationships in the office between the different guys, and I think it helps us work well together. We can give each other a hard time, but it's not like
probably just hones in on the brand a little bit more, right? Like
and it makes it more authentic too. I mean, like if we sell hunting products, we're actually out like hunting and using them and testing them, and I don't know. I feel like it makes it a little more real. So.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that about Jess and Josh, because my thesis project at BYU was we studied, it was like 100 different couples that owned a business together.
Okay.
And ran it together too, and like what their management habits were, I guess you'd say. Like if they had a strict cutoff time, we're like, okay, we don't talk business after 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And they didn't like bring work home with them, versus like couples that would talk about work 24/7 and like what that does to the relationship. So we like studied them or interviewed them. We didn't study them. Interviewed them and kind of like, I guess you'd say like recorded their habits, and then 6 months later kind of did another round of that. And it was really interesting to see. But
what were the results?
Like the couples that had every couple could kind of do it healthy, I guess, or have like a healthy relationship either way. Mm-hmm. It seems like you're most likely to be good, I guess you'd say, to have a happy relationship if you have a strict cutoff time and you like set some time aside for like yourself that's not work. So we did see a lot of couples that seems like they had a lot of stress from talking about work nonstop. And even some of the couples had gotten divorced in that 6 months.
Really?
All of the couples that had gotten divorced were ones that had brought work home every day.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's interesting though. You're like, I feel like there's also so many variables in that, because like depending on where you interview them at in their life, or where they're in like the times, place where, like what stage are they at in their business, or
marriage too.
Marriage. Like I feel like there's so many factors, but.
And we
boundaries
try to
and
segment that, but it's
balance.
It's good. Yeah. I mean, I think even with having kids, like if you can set some time aside as a couple without the kids, where it's just like, you and your spouse, I think that's important too. So,
yeah. So how many kids do you have again?
2 and 1 on the way.
2 and 1 on the way. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I'm excited. A 7-year-old boy, 4-year-old girl, and then another girl coming in June. So, yeah.
So I know you do a lot of like, bigger game hunts. Do you bring the kiddos on anything? Do you guys do like a camping one? Or
I wish. I mean, you see that a lot in the mountains where it's like a big camp with like a whole family and an RV and everything. And I don't know, the way I started hunting was just like me and a buddy and hiking way in there and camping like in the dirt and stuff. Yeah. So like the types of hunts that I'm usually doing are not super family friendly, especially with little kids. But I do try and take, like this son, I took my son what did I say? This winter, this winter, I took my son waterfowl hunting a lot.
Okay.
So like every weekend we'd go out duck hunting with usually one or two of my coworkers, like with Greg, a few times. And yeah, he loves it. Like I bought him waders so he could go out there and help with the decoys. And that, like waterfowl hunting is definitely like a really kid-friendly sport because they don't have to hike a ton. I mean, it's pretty cold, so usually like that's the main concern is keeping them warm. But and then I've taken Maverick like predator hunting as well, like coyote hunting on like farms that like sheep farms and stuff that need help with that. So
well, they're still a little young, and so I feel like over the next couple of years you'll start transitioning to like the smaller caliber and trying to get them into it, but also like that balance of like not pressuring them enough to like get them scared.
Yeah, and my son, I mean, he would hunt today if he could, right? Like he was like itching to go, but yeah, so he's still got a few years to be able to hunt himself. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely try and bring him out more and more. A lot of the hunts I do are pretty gnarly for even a 7-year-old. But like this upcoming year, I'm going to try and get another whitetail tag, which like after hunting that this last year, I'm like, I could totally take Maverick on this. He would love it. So, and then my daughter, Havana, she's 4. Whenever she sees Maverick go out hunting with me, she's like, what? You're not taking me? So
my dad would probably tell stories. He's like, you were the little kid because I grew up in Texas. So we did a lot of like blind hunting.
Yeah.
And, I was the little girl that would sit there and crinkle the chip wrappers and eat the candy and watch the movie. And he's like, I'm taking her out because I have to take her out, but I know I'm not going to get anything because she's so loud.
That's like my wife, like her dad, hunted her whole like upbringing. And so, but she said like he would take her and she's the youngest of 5 girls. So it's just 5 girls. And so, but yeah, he would try and take the girls hunting, and she said she can remember like trying to make noise as they're walking into somewhere to hunt, to try and scare all the animals away and give them a chance. And I'm like, man, your dad must have been so frustrated. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see I hope Havana wants to hunt because I feel like it's me and Maverick, even just waterfowl hunting and predator hunting have really bonded a lot. Like even just the drives to go hunt and the drives back and stuff. Really like for a 7-year-old, I mean 6 even at the time, he just turned 7, but really meaningful and like fun conversations, just me and him in the car and stuff. So
yeah, I'm super close with my dad because of it.
Oh, really?
So I think like I grew up like that's what we did. That was like our family activity.
Awesome.
Like if we were ever traveling or going on vacation, it's probably because we were going hunting or we were going to a shooting comp. So I think I definitely, and I will say this to them too. I was like, I definitely think I like took it more advantage of it when I was little, like took it for granted.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, everybody does this. Like it's just a thing. And then when I kind of got into college, that's when I was like, oh, this is actually fun. Like I can actually,
and it's unique. Like not everyone gets to spend that much time with their family.
Yeah,
too.
and I didn't learn that lesson until I went to college and I met all these people and they were like, yeah, no one does this. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you want to go?
Yeah.
But I got really close with my dad in college because that was my hunting buddy, and he still is my hunting buddy. I mean, now
that's awesome.
Austin's my hunting buddy, but
honey buddy,
whatever, same thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But but I'm glad my parents didn't like push me or get me scared. They're just like, when you're comfortable or when you want to do it. But
yeah, I think for me, like the thing that I've tried to focus on the most is just making sure that Maverick has fun when we're out there. So like, I mean, even this year we had some rough duck hunts that were just pretty miserable, cold, like with the cold and the hunting itself. And so like, we're getting, like we usually pull sleds, we hunt like a river, down or up in Idaho. And so we have these sleds with all the decoys and stuff, get those into the truck. And I'm like, man, like thinking like, okay, I don't know, has he had fun yet? So I'm like, Mav, what do you want to go do on the way home? And whether it's like stopping at like a little diner in a small town to get to get lunch, or even he's gotten pretty into like rock hounding, like finding cool rocks like agates and like stuff like that, little geodes. And so a couple of times on the way home we like stopped at some spots to go find some cool rocks. And so even some of the highlights of those days were the rock finding, but I'm like, I just want him to think like duck hunting fun so that he'll want to go, because I never want to feel like I'm forcing him to go. So.
Yeah,
but yeah, so far it's been good.
Fun.
I think it's I've made it fun enough, at least, where he has like a positive thought about it. And I know over time he'll probably enjoy it more and more.
Yeah.
As he gets more capable and stuff.
Well, I'm proud of you raising a good little boy.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Okay, so before I get here, I do have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Rapid fire, not rapid fire.
Yeah.
If it goes somewhere, it does. But
okay.
Where is your dream hunt?
I'd say right now.
You've got to do some pretty badass like hunts, I feel like. So
yeah, like I said, I'm already going to Alaska twice this year.
I'm so jealous.
So like some of those hunts I get to do are every year feel like dream hunts. But I'd probably say like Alaskan moose right now, or just another real. I love elk hunting, and I feel like every year I get to go on a lot of really cool elk hunts. Most of the time, the really cool tags and stuff are not mine. I get to be there for the experience and film it and everything and help, but. I'd say like probably a really like a cool like a draw, like an Idaho draw elk hunt, or Alaskan moose would be my two right now.
So pretty good ones.
Yeah.
Out of all the hunts you've done, what's your favorite one and why?
Probably this hunt I did last year with Colton and Justin Gibbons from Limitless Outdoors. It was an elk and deer hunt up in northern Idaho. We flew in to a little strip and got in rafts and floated down about 10 miles, set up camp kind of near there and hiked and hunted from there. I shot a 8x8, like a really nice bull. Probably my favorite animal I've shot to date. And then after that hunt, and yeah, Colton, my friend, also shot a really nice deer. And then at the end of the week, we rafted out, which was gnarly and crazy. It was pretty.
I feel like I remember seeing that on your Instagram or something.
Pretty crazy.
Wasn't it kind of rapidy?
Yeah, there were rapids. The rafts were torn apart, so like flooded with water. I mean, we were soaked and freezing, and it was November, so like the water wasn't high enough, so it was too shallow. The rocks tore apart the rafts, and so by the time we got down to the strip to get flown out, I mean, we were soaked and freezing. It was almost dark. It took way longer than we thought. But yeah, I think that's definitely my favorite hunt I've been on.
I love it. Yeah, that was a good one. I remember seeing those highlights. I'm asking this one because you asked me this one yesterday. Mm-hmm. Well, to ask somebody else.
Yeah.
Do you have any near-death experiences?
Yeah, I have a couple. I mean, I have a bunch from like, oh, that, could have gone south. I remember one time actually in high school. This one's like, I don't know. I feel like it always just gives me chills when I think about it, but it's not like anything hunting related. But me and my girlfriend at the time in high school were like coming back from dinner or something, and we were at a stoplight and it turned green, and I don't know what. Like, I mean, I'd say it's like divine intervention, but like I just didn't go, and I'm usually like I'm a fast driver and I like to like go when it turns green. For some reason, I just didn't hit the gas, and like 2 seconds later, a full like semi truck just ran the red, like would have full on T-boned us. So I feel like after seeing that, I was like, wow. I mean, that could have been really bad.
Yeah.
And then I've had a bunch just in the like really where I've gotten in really bad shape, I guess, in the mountains, like either really dehydrated or close to like hypothermic, stuff like that, where it's just my fault. And then a couple times, I guess, almost falling in Alaska were pretty sketchy on a Doll sheep hunt that I was like, wow, if I would have fallen, I would have, I don't think I would have lived. So, and then the craziest like near death that hits home, I guess, is my wife actually got in a really bad car accident last year. And so that one's been just, and it was almost a year ago now, but here in Utah, actually, she was driving down to Salt Lake to fly out with a bunch of her friends for a girls trip to Nashville. Mm-hmm. And she was supposed to leave kind of after work. Being the good mom she is, she, stayed and helped with the kids' dinner and even helped put them to bed, and then kind of got a late start. So it was like middle of the night. She was still driving down here and fell asleep, just like near Ogden, and rolled 6 times on the freeway and like going 80 miles an hour.
Holy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so she went like unconscious after the second roll. She doesn't remember, but then she was hanging upside down. The craziest part too is like no one even pulled over, and her Apple Watch, she was like yelling help from her car. Eventually like got out of her seatbelt, but was still yelling help, and her Apple Watch called 911. So she was, after the wreck, no one showed up for 45 minutes. It was like 1 a.m. or something. So
what?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So it was like pretty crazy. She only, I mean,
Thank goodness for that
bad,
Apple Watch. Holy crap, that's so scary. I had to get a new phone last year, and because my phone completely pooped out right in the middle of an event, and it was so stressful. So I had to go get a new one, and the new one, it has crash detection.
Oh yeah.
Where if you do get in a car accident, it'll call it automatically, which it's kind of crazy that like phones can detect that, but also that's the biggest thing is
I know. So
not getting a response for 45 minutes.
I know. And the highway patrol here eventually got her phone, which is like 200 yards behind the car. And at the time, her sister was calling her phone, so they were able to tell her sister what happened, and then her sister called me. So like 4 a.m, I get a call.
And how far is she from you?
Well, she was like 4 hours, so I got down here at like 7. I mean, I made it an hour shorter. I was driving pretty fast to get down here, but she had a broken sternum, and that's about it. Some burns on her hand from the airbag, like gas or whatever that's in it that came out. But I mean, I'll feel blessed, I think, for the rest of my life for that one, that she's still with us and healthy. So that was pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, obviously the Lord saved her because you guys got another baby. You gotta bring into this world. So let's
definitely
get
blessed.
We don't know if it's a boy or girl yet.
It's a girl.
Right? Oh, it's a girl. Yeah. Okay, well let's get her here. Okay, name 3 things that you always have in your gear bag.
My InReach, which is a Garmin, satellite device, so I can, no matter what. And now my phone does it, so I don't use it as much. But I always have that. And then I always have some sort of fire starter, like usually the pyro putty, like little things you can rip off and helps you start a fire, even if it's like pouring rain or wet or snowy. And then, I'd say, I guess a lighter. Just thinking of like the most important to least important, like those, I think are all for livelihood's sake, pretty important. I mean, I have a lot of other gear that I always bring, like binoculars and rangefinder, like if I'm hunting, binoculars, rangefinder, game bag, stuff like that. But for the safety aspect, I guess those 3 would be pretty important.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let me see. Do you have a funny hunting fail, or what's your funniest hunting fail?
I have a couple that I don't think are that funny that like kind of bug me to this day. But let's see, funny hunting fail. I'm trying to think here. I mean, I have a couple like where I've missed the shot. Oh, well, I don't know. It's not funny to me, but my friends bring it up all the time. So I drew a really good like deer tag a couple years ago in Idaho, and was really pumped for it. I mean, everything. We had a videographer from the UK come to film something for Eberlestock. Anyway, he came out with me for the opener of this hunt, and I thought, I've been scouting a lot. I mean, I'd been going out there like every couple days for months, like, and really knew where I wanted to hunt. And something with my scope got knocked off. I just shot it like the day before the season opener. Somehow something happened to my scope. I think it was something with the zero stop. I ended up that hunt missing a really good buck in the morning, really good buck in the afternoon. The next day I missed another good buck in the morning. And then I missed 3 shots at the buck that I finally ended up killing. But I had him at 100 yards the second day of the hunt, and I missed 3 shots. And I was trying to see, like, that's such a close shot. I was trying to watch where the bullet was impacting. I'm like, what is going on? I thought it was just me being too hyped up for the hunt, and it was actually my scope. So I kept I was like beating myself up, for the first day and a half. Just like, what is wrong with me? Like, I'm usually pretty good under pressure, and thankfully it was my rifle, and so I changed out the rifle and killed that deer like a week later. So it ended up working out. But at the time my friends were just like, you suck at shooting. Like, what is going on? And
you can't hit worth of crap.
Yeah, I was embarrassed.
Can't hit a broadside of a barn.
Exactly.
What's your go-to hunting snack?
I have a lot, but I'd say like those honey stinger waffles, waffle things. What, do you not like those or something?
That's what Jess said.
Really?
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so good.
It's just so funny. Like everybody loves those.
Oh yeah, we just had them at a Winter Strong event last weekend too, and I was like, man, this is my favorite hunting snack. Like they taste like candy when you're up in the mountains. So.
Oh my gosh, I love it. She said the same thing. That's funny.
That's awesome.
Okay, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from working within your passion?
That it doesn't feel like work. Like if you're, I don't know. Say the question again.
So what's the biggest lesson you've learned from working within your passion?
I don't know. I think that your like boundaries aren't as set. Like you will be more creative and I feel like you just expand your ability to work, whether it's like the amount of time you're working because you enjoy it or just what that means in terms of like what you're able to do. Like you become more creative in what like for me, like what I'm doing, what I'm shooting, stuff like that, because I actually like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's an industry that I like being in. So
yeah, that makes a huge difference.
yeah.
Okay, this one's a good one. If you could fight a mountain lion or a grizzly, what would you pick?
Mountain lion.
Mountain lion.
Oh, easy. I mean, that grizzly would just kill me. Mountain lion, at least. I mean, it'd probably kill me too.
At least you have a chance.
I don't know. This is funny because Greg, our CEO, and I want this to be public, but yeah, he thinks he always, and we've talked about this a lot at the office, but he thinks he could take a mountain lion if we were locked in an office. If he and the mountain lion were locked in an office together, like a work office.
Okay.
He thinks he could kill it with what he has in that office, and not including like a gun or a knife, like just like a pen or something.
A stapler
like,
or
I think he thinks he would choke it out. Anyway,
he's like, well, the mountain lion has like a disadvantage because he's not in his like normal.
Yeah, everything about it, like Greg's like, no, it's because he has an explanation for it, and I do believe Greg. Like, if any person could kill a mountain lion, it'd probably be Greg. But it's just a funny debate we always have at the office. But a grizzly bear, there's no chance. I mean, that thing would just swipe me. And I'm dead, so.
Should we just try to do a Talladega Nights and just put him in a car with the
that would be pretty wild to watch.
Okay, 2 more questions and then we'll break. But because the show's about to start. What advice would you give somebody who wants to or who is working in the industry?
I think who is working in the industry, I'd say like just make friends in the industry, because it'll probably better your chances of working in the industry longer. Whether that's something happening with the current company you're working for or your current job position, or maybe you just want to change or something. Like if you know enough people in the industry, I feel like it'll make it easier to get another job in the industry. If you're not in the hunting or outdoor industry, I think just whether it's going to events or, I mean, social media is a great place to get involved, whether it's through companies or people in the industry, like personalities and stuff.
Social media as in like connecting with people on social or like as in like go get a social media job in the industry?
Either, but I meant like connecting or networking through social media.
Okay.
I mean, if you're like, let's say for me, I was in San Diego, right? Like I was nowhere near the epicenter of Western hunting, the Western hunting industry. I think I already had made some connections in the industry through social media. I mean, I'd filmed and photographed a couple hunts, just while I was still living in San Diego that like were up in Idaho, and that helped kind of grow a network with some people that I had never met in person yet. So I think, and then, I mean, for me, like being a content creator, creating content that's valuable to companies and just giving it to them for them to use. I think like, and seeing that now on the industry side, if someone does that for us, I'm like, I'll remember that person's name. I'll remember that person. So if we need to go hire somebody, I'll definitely look at that person differently than someone that is, interviewing blind. So.
Cool. Okay. Final one.
Okay.
What is the best hunting advice that you have ever received? You've had some really great mentors, so I know it's probably really hard.
I know. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's some advice like my father-in-law gave me when I was first starting out that like, but I think just, he would tell me just not to get excited, like too excited about like the fact, like, if you think you're about to like, kill something, don't get too excited about it until the job's actually done. Just kind of like stay focused. And then he also just told me to enjoy the whole process too. Like whether it's failing stock after stock or, you know, really grinding through a tough hunt, just enjoy every part of it. And I feel like I do, like the hunts I enjoy the most are the ones that end up being the hardest hunts, physically or mentally. They're the ones that you definitely remember the most. So that advice is definitely like rung true for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say those are probably the two I think about a lot. I definitely like try not to get excited before I kill something.
You're like breathe.
Yeah, which that's why I'm usually decently good at that. So like on that deer hunt, I was really mentally getting messed up. I'm like, something's changed with like, I'm getting too excited or something, but yeah. And then, I do look forward to hunts that I know are going to be hard just because I know I'll remember them and I know they'll be hard. I kind of like dread it, but like really look forward to those. So yeah.
Fun. Well, I appreciate you so much for hopping over from your booth and taking the time. And
yeah, it's been fun chatting. I feel bad just talking about myself. Like I feel like I could talk. I want to ask you about a lot of the same things.
You can ask me later. It's fine. Do not. It's definitely about you and learning your story. And people want to know more about you. So you're a fun character to follow on Instagram, and that's where they can find you if they want to follow you or learn more, or go see the elk hunt you were talking about going down the river in the raft.
I think I still have one of those pinned on my like feed on my Instagram, like a video of me like in a raft of, you know, water and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, on Instagram, go find it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, Raeyne.
Okay.